So damn, Stranger Things was pretty good, wasn't it? So Stranger Things 3 is finally released. It was released July 4th. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm decently late on this review. I went on a binge of it, finished it in 2 days, and haven't been able to film. Yeah, so excuse me for that, but yeah, enjoy the review. Speaking of, if you do want to hear reviews early, before I do a YouTube video, I have an Instagram page that I will put a photo of here, and a link in the description for reviews of movies or TV shows I see the day of, because I'm usually more active there compared to here because it takes longer to film and edit a video, if you know what I mean. So, yeah. So this video will kind of be spoilery. I can't really talk about the majority of the plot without revealing some spoilers. I'm not going to go full spoiler, but yeah, I will mention a brief couple things. So if you are super prone and hate spoilers, don't watch this. I have a spoiler-free view on my Instagram. So yeah, subtle link, photo here of the review. Yeah, go check that out. Or you can probably pause the video, but so obviously I'll just start with my main negative. Sometimes I feel like the plot can be all over the place. Like, you've seen the show. If you've seen the show, you'll know what I'm talking about. There's three main, like, story arcs. There's the Scoop Troop, the Joyce Hopper, and then the rest of the kids. And sometimes it can be a bit jarring to, like, cut between Hopper and Joyce to the Scoop Troop, back to Mike and Eleven, and just cutting all around there, because there's different stories for each of them. They do eventually merge and come into one big story by the end of it, but that happens in the last episode, and there's 8 episodes in this season. So yeah, just sometimes it can be jarring. I can't remember an episode off the top of my head, but you'll know what I mean when you do watch it. I do. I think the main reason of this is just because they've got so many characters now, and they introduced Robin and Erica as 2 main characters in this one, which were really good. Robin especially was really good with Steve. Like, all their dynamic, and the scenes where they were drugged, that was one of the funnier parts of the season. It was really entertaining to watch. I still think Hopper, played by David Harbour, is the best character in this show. He has always been really good in Season 1 and Season 2, and he's just as good in Season 3. He starts off at a level of anger that like doesn't blemish throughout the entire season. He's always angry, and as sadistic as it sounds, sometimes it's enjoyable to watch him get frustrated and get angry. I don't know. It's TV. It's entertainment. You gotta do what you gotta do. But he had the most well-rounded character arc in this season. I found myself really rooting for him, even though his story with Joyce and like the other 2 people, they didn't really contribute much to the story, considering the one thing they could have done, Dustin and Susie did, but yeah, they served a semi-decent purpose, but yeah, it's just small things like that which don't make the show a 10 out of 10. It's very close. I'll keep the actual final rating a secret, but it's close to being a perfect score. I did really like the visual effects in this season too. Obviously the big bad in the season is the Mind Flayer. He's back from season 2, but instead of being just a shadow monster, he's managed to manifest himself in a physical form in the non-upside, the real world, and he takes over people's minds. Like for example, the main one's Billy, and he uses them to practically serve him and do his bidding, which it was entertaining. It was kind of cliche at some points, considering it was basically Invasion of the Body Snatchers, but you know, I really liked the Mind Flayer, and the showdown at the very end of the season with like all of them in the Starcourt Mall in the food court, wrecking havoc on the Mind Flayer. It was really entertaining to watch. I will be honest when I say that. I will say Billy is one of the better characters this season. He wasn't really utilized much in the last season, not that I can remember anyway, but he's brought back as a central antagonist in this one, and the actor is so good. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but he's so good in this role. Like, it must take a lot to do something like this, practically be acting as someone who's being taken over by someone else, if you know what I mean. And it was really cool to see him back. he was one of the characters I was concerned that how they bring him back, because he doesn't really have much of an arc, and he can't really get involved with the kids because of his age and his motifs and whatnot. But I did like how they brought him back. It was really interesting. I know a lot of people will disagree with this, but I do think season 3 is the strongest of the 3 seasons so far. I really enjoyed it. There's not many shows that I can say I've binged an entire season in 2 days. Like, I think the only other one's been Game of Thrones, and that was when I was going on a super Game of Thrones binge. But yeah, I still think this show holds up really well against the other 2 seasons. But I heard some critics saying that this was the weakest season compared to the other 2. I personally disagree. I really enjoyed this. It's a really good time, and I've been speaking to a couple of my friends about it, and they've all really liked it. They've all thought it was a good season, which is a positive, considering, like, the third is always, like, the one that the trilogy is what's leaning on, if it's a good trilogy or a bad trilogy. I reckon Stranger Things is one of the best trilogies out there. Like, I know it's technically not a trilogy because it's a TV show, but you know what I mean. Sadly, however, I don't think they should make a 4th season. They kind of set up for a season 4 in the post-credit scene of the final episode, but I personally don't want it. If they did, I reckon the season 4 would be the final season. But I think 3 is just a nice number to cap the show off at, because they've had a good run. They've been very successful, and they've shot Finn Wolfhard, Millie Bobby Brown, David Harbour, like all these big actors now into the limelight because of their really good acting potential from this show. Speaking of, Finn Wolfhard and Millie Bobby Brown are really good in this season. They play, obviously, Mike and Eleven, and like they've got a budding romance the entire time, which is back and forth, like on and off. It is really, it's kind of charming to watch. Sometimes it does get a bit cringy because they're teenagers. You know what I mean. Overall, I did like their character arc a lot. Same with Lucas and Max. Dustin, obviously, and Steve by Joe Keery is still my favourite character. Second to Chief Hopper. Speaking of the Russians, having them as the antagonist, like the sub-antagonist, is kind of cheesy. It hits at that 80s nostalgia that the series is going for. But I remember in the first episode where they panned outside to the secret bunker and they showed the Russian-Soviet flag. I just burst out laughing. They served their purpose, along with the guy who was practically the Terminator. He was there to be the Terminator. That's what he did and what was there. I enjoyed watching him. He led to one of the saddest deaths in the TV show this season. But yeah, it was an unprecedented death. He didn't deserve to die, but yeah. I won't say who, but there's already been spoilers, but I won't say who. Overall, I really did dig this season. I thought it was really good. Obviously the only flaw is that it's a bit jarring with everyone everywhere, but other than that, I reckon you can have a really good time watching this. I would highly suggest binging this show. It has a sort of factor that improves its longevity by binging it. You get more out of the show by binging the entire thing in a short amount of time, because obviously each episode sets up for the next, leaves it on a cliffhanger, blah blah blah. But yeah, binge the show if you can. For where I am at school holidays at the moment, so if you are out of school or just have a day off, just binge the show. Just do it. You owe it to yourself to do it. And overall, I'm giving Stranger Things Season 3 a 9.5 out of 10. So thank you guys for watching this review. I know it's a bit late. I already prefaced this in the intro, but yeah, hopefully you did enjoy. Again, I will leave a link to my Instagram down below. I know I haven't plugged it much the past 2 or 3 reviews even, but yeah, if you guys like this review, make sure to tell me what you thought of the season down below. I'm curious to find out what you guys think. So yeah, obviously, I'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Laters.